Hello and welcome to this month's Q&A. I apologise that it's so late, but you know, I've been moving, I keep talking about it, so let's crack on with it. If you want to get your question answered in a Q&A like this one, then you can just head on over to ask.fm/Sharmalade and you can ask me anything as long as it's not too rude. Question number 1. What are you most looking forward to in the Guild Wars 2 Heart of Thorns expansion from SJ Burasa? Probably guild halls, even though I'm not actually in a very active guild. I'm in my own guild which has like 5 people in it. And me. So forever alone. But I'm sure guild halls are going to be absolutely amazing, and I'm also looking forward to flying. I don't know too much about it though, so I don't know how that actually works. And obviously like all the new story content and stuff I'm sure is going to be absolutely amazing, because Guild Wars 2 stories are always amazing. This question is from Giiiiii. Do you like Uggs, the boots? Have you ever owned any? What are your most comfortable boots you have right now? I've seen Uggs. I don't have any Uggs. I think they look pretty cool on the right shaped legs. Like, I have kind of tennis player legs, so I can't really get away with boots. But the boots that I find the most comfortable are my walking boots, which are really tatty, but they're very comfortable and they're very practical, especially when I'm taking my dog Maggie out for walks in the mud. They've got a great grip on them, and they're just extremely frumpy and practical, but they get the job done. How tall are you and Lane? I think you mean Ian. People make that mistake all the time because when you type a capital I, sometimes it's looked upon as an L. But I'm I think I'm like 5'7", and Ian would like to think that he's taller than me, but I think he's 5'6". But he'll probably say that he's like 5'8", but that's a lie, don't listen to him. Would you do haircut in your private areas? What? Have you ever seen anybody get knocked out? Yeah, when I was at school, which was like Victorian times, there was this awful fight that happened. We called it it was a link building, and we always used to like congregate under this link building, and there was this girl, and she was just so nasty. She was so nasty. Like, she probably had a lot of crap going on at home or something to make her so angry, but there was this like huge fight between her and this other girl, and this other girl was very meek and wasn't fighting back or anything. She wasn't, I don't know what the fight was about. But this other girl, she's very tall, was like easily dominating this other girl, and she like had her by her hair, just handfuls of this girl's hair, and she just grabbed her and like rushed her over to this brick wall and just slammed her head against it, and this girl fell down onto the floor, and like all these kids just went bundle and jumped on top of her, and I was just like, what are you doing? And she was lying on the floor saying, I can't see, I can't see. I don't know what, like, she must have had some sort of concussion or something, but I don't know why all these kids jumped on top of her. Like, I don't know, I think at that age you just go along with what everybody else is doing, because it was a bad idea. And the dinner lady came along and she was like pulling these kids off of this little girl on the floor. And she was okay. I think the girl that actually initiated the fight and like grabbed her hair and stuff, she got kicked out of our school. Like, she went somewhere, I don't know what happened to her. But I don't remember seeing the other girl either, so I don't know what happened to her. It's not pleasant. It wasn't pleasant at all. What have I got in my pocket? 2 aces. After watching the video I sent you the link to, your choice if you mentioned who it was of, did you have the same singing voice you have now when you were 13 years old? And that's from Andy Scoffings. Definitely not. Like, when I was 13 I thought I could sing. Mind you, I still think I can sing, and I'm probably terrible. No, when I was 13 I used to sing all the time. Like, we always had the radio on, so I was always singing. I was always doing harmonies. I was always making my own little like radio stations. Embarrassing. I have about 100 cassettes of me just making radio stations and singing and playing my piano and stuff. It's so embarrassing. But like, it's only been probably the past, I'd say maybe 2 or 3 years where I've understood what my voice can and can't do, worked with it, and then kind of relaxed into a style of singing that's both comfortable for me and also what I want to hear. Like sometimes I sing things and I'm like, God, I don't want to even hear my own voice singing that because it sounds terrible. But it's normally because I'm being too try-hard or I'm being too technical. But if I relax my voice and just sing how I want to sing something without trying too hard, I'm quite happy with my voice. But it's so different from when I was a kid. As a kid I was just hitting notes, but now I've learnt so much about singing that you visually change your voice in your mind because of everything that you've picked up, and sometimes it's a bad thing because you're constantly thinking, instead of feeling just the raw emotion of a song, sometimes you can be thinking, I didn't sing that word quite right, or I didn't get the vibrato on that note that I wanted, or my voice cracked on that note. And it can become an overly technical process visually in your mind. But I love constantly learning new things about my voice, what it can and what it can't do, and pushing it. And sometimes I push it too much and then I've damaged it, and then you have to rest it for a while. But your voice changes like so much over the years, especially if singing is something that you do on a regular basis and you're constantly hearing your improvements or your flaws. It's constantly changing, so it's like significantly different. I think I have a song from when I was about 16 or 15 that I recorded when I was at music college. Well, I didn't record it, the studio guys did, but if I can find it then I'll put it in here and you can have like a little listen and you'll hear like how young my voice is. And now I kind of feel that my voice is a lot more husky and deep and stronger. And in the song that, if I can find it to show you, my voice back then was cleaner, I'd say, but it was weaker and airier. But anyway, you'll be able to hear the difference if I can find the song. Favourite Russian/Soviet ruler? Regards, Snez. I don't know. I googled it. I googled list of the leaders of the Soviet Union. Someone's come up here. Mikhail Gorbachev. I don't know though. Do you remember the last time you wet yourself outside the comfort of your own home, and how old were you? I don't recall a time that I wet myself. That's a really weird question anyway. I feel kind of weird talking about it. How about a monthly Q&A without makeup? Postman and such kind of stuff from QQQQ942. I was actually going to do that today. I couldn't be bothered to put my makeup on, but I ended up putting my makeup on anyway. I suppose I could do a Q&A. That's scary though. That's like, to me that's scary. Like I love wearing makeup. I love putting it on. I love getting dressed up. There's, you know, unfortunately I'm not one of these women that wake up looking like a porcelain doll. Like I have to get the shovel out and the cement and the polyfiller, and it all goes on and it takes hours. But maybe I'll do a Q&A without makeup on. Maybe. How do you choose what questions to put on the Q&A each month? And that is from Kitty Cat. I go in order, so I just go from the furthest away one up. How do you do those lovely animated World of Warcraft backgrounds each time you do a Q&A, as I think they are just awesome? From Dean Platt. Basically, Nanania bought me a green screen so that I was able to, basically you put the green screen behind you. You can use other colours. I think you can use like a blue and a red and a green. And then what you do is you film with the like green behind you, and then you import the video into like Sony Vegas, and then there's like a plugin. Well, there is a plugin. There's not like a plugin. It is a plugin called Chroma Key, and it removes a whole colour from your footage. So if you was to remove select the green and remove all of the green, then you're left with like a black background, and then you can just drag other footage, like just go and fraps, like record some World of Warcraft background or whatever footage, and you put that not literally behind you, but you drag that into Sony Vegas, and then where the areas where the green was removed, that's where the background shows up. I am the worst person for trying to explain things that are kind of technical because I can't. Hi Sharmy, love your music. I was wondering if you would do a cover of Firebird's Child and the leader of the pack, Phoenix Elson. Kiss kiss kiss. Possibly. I'll look into them. What I'm doing at the moment is taking requests from my patrons. It's like one of the perks of being a patron. You can suggest a song to me and I'll give you a shout out at the start and send you the MP3 to have and to keep, and then I put it on YouTube. So my patrons, I'm very sorry, my patrons do come first when it comes to song suggestions, and I have quite a fair few in my patron only mailbox, so but I will check them out. Hi Sharm, this is Giiiiii Fairy off of Google+. Hello Giiiiii Fairy. I love your music so much. Anyway, let's get to the point. How long have you known Giiiiii, Latomi, Ember Isolta and Kelis? Also, have you ever done the Warlords of Draenor dungeons? I've done the Warlords of Draenor dungeons, but not recently because I kind of, not quit, well I quit WoW, kind of, it just got a bit boring. Logging in, I couldn't justify $8.99 a month just to sit in my garrison, so I wanted to play other games possibly that were subscription based, so I decided to just freeze my account for a bit. Giiiiii and Latomi and Ember and Kelis, I've followed them for a very, very long time, some for years, like 8 years plus. But I speak to Giiiiii like on a everyday. Do you ever use eBay to buy or sell super duper second-hand items? No, I don't. eBay, I've heard, well, it seems to me like it's got kind of a bad rep. I don't know why, because I've never used it, so I shouldn't really judge it but on hearsay, but I don't use eBay. I only use Amazon. I feel quite comfortable using Amazon. I feel like they're reputable and they really protect the buyer as well. I actually don't have a question. I just want to say that Guild Wars 2 Heart of Thorns is really great and your voice is amazing. Thank you. Oh, are you looking forward to Avatar 2? Here's a single screen preview of the film, and they've put a link to a picture that is clearly not a picture of the film. Are you more of a jeans and t-shirt or a girls girl? Also, do you have any piercings or tattoos? Definitely jeans and t-shirt. I love jeans, they're so comfortable. I'm so not fashionable. I'm like the least fashionable person you will ever meet. Like, if I'm going out, sometimes I just don't care what I'm wearing. That sounds really bad, but I've got to this stage in my life where I'm still wearing clothes that I wore like 5 years ago, and I have no shame, and like I'll just sometimes the clothes that I put on, I'll get dressed and Ian's like, what are you wearing? And I'm like, oh yeah, actually probably shouldn't wear like a lime green top with red trousers. It is quite embarrassing, but I just don't really care about clothes. I just don't care about them, so I don't place a lot of importance on what I wear, but I like to make sure that I look dignified at least, and you know, everything's covered up pretty much, and I'm not, you know, flaunting things that I shouldn't. And I don't have any tattoos, but I really do want to get one. I had an idea for it, but it's too big. Like, my idea is too big. Like, I can't imagine anywhere on my body that I could have it done that I'd is a place that I'd want to have a tattoo. Like it's based on the elements, earth, air, fire and water, and it's a phoenix, and its tail has like, it kind of strains out and there's feathers coming out of the tail, but the tail kind of transforms into a like branch with a big flower blossoming with dewdrops on it. And that like kind of signifies all of the elements, but it's just too massive. I'm thinking about getting one on my hand. I saw that Quixotica had a nice tattoo on her hand. I've seen a couple of girls with tattoos on their hands and I think they're really dignified. What do you think of tattoos on hands for girls? Just like a very delicate design. I think that could look quite nice. Or on the inside of the wrist, but so many girls get it on the inside of their wrist and I'm not sure about that. And in regards to piercings, I used to have 6, I've got 4 now because 2 closed up. I had 6 in my ear, well 3 in each side, but now I just have 2. But I think 3 was a bit too much, so I'm kind of pleased they closed up. But when I went to get my ears pierced, my first hole, I went with my friend, and the woman put like felt tip pen on my ear, and she was like, okay, do they look even? And my friend was like, no, make that one lower. And I was sitting there thinking, okay. And then the woman went, well, if they're wonky, don't blame me, and like did my ears, and they were wonky. So now I can only really get away with wearing droplet ones. If I wear studs, you can see that they're actually wonky. So sucks to be me. If you were a lead developer for World of Warcraft, what would you implement into the game? Oh my goodness, that's like a massive question. I really don't know. For me, MMOs are based on the social side of things. If I'm having a good time socially in a game, it's like 10 times more appealing. And I think with World of Warcraft, it got to a point where, because I took a 2-year break, when I came back a lot of people had moved on, guilds had disbanded, and I felt very, very alone in World of Warcraft. So if I was going to implement something, maybe like, this sounds really sad, but maybe like a friend finder or something, so that you can, like, if there's other people that are just starting out the game and don't necessarily want to be invited into a guild that's already got like the clique, you know, they've already got their like members that log in and everyone's like, oh, let's all surround that person, and you kind of feel left out. Just a friend finder where you can say like, I'm new and I, you know, and I just want to make a couple of friends that we can do stuff together, and I think that would be a good implementation. Is that a word? Implementation. Would you kindly flex your arm muscles like a manly macho man for us, followed by, there you go, you little wimp. Next question. I haven't really got any muscles. There's something there, right? What am I saying? There you go, you little wimp. Next question. Rah. Are you planning on making a WoW series with friends or by yourself? P.S. You rock, I love you. Thanks. No. Well, I started to do the priest healing series, where I was leveling my priest from 90 to 100 and recording the dungeons that I was doing as holy. But then I made a monk, and I realised that monk healing was so much more enjoyable than priest healing, and I kind of stopped with the priest series. So, and I'm not playing WoW right now, so unfortunately I'm not going to be making any WoW series. Can you do the Murloc sound? That was weird, wasn't it? That got awkward. That was awkward. I feel weird. This is 3 questions. Greedy. If you could go anywhere in the world, where would it be? Also, what is your favourite colour and what day is your birthday? My birthday is on the 25th of April. My favourite colour is like dark red, like, you know, maroon almost. And if you could go anywhere in the world, where would it be? I don't know. Well, America. It's got to be said. Everyone knows I love America. I love America. I love it. I would live there in a heartbeat if I could, but I can't because I'd get deported. Are you PvP or PvE in WoW? Also, your voice is divine. From Alex Hammonds. Thank you. Well, when I was playing WoW, I was mainly PvE. When I used to play my hunter, when my hunter was my main, way back, like maybe 3 years after I started playing WoW, so like 7 years ago, I used to PvP all the time. I loved it, and it was back when, you know, you'd get your honour points, you'd rack them up, and then like overnight they'd work out the true amount of honour points that you actually got, and you'd always get screwed over, and you knew you'd be so close to getting this piece of armour that you wanted, and you'd like grind a lot more honour points than you needed, and then it would get to like, I don't know, whenever the update was, and you'd be like, oh my goodness, you've cut me down by so many points and now I can't get that piece of gear. So that was a long time ago. I think I even might have had mana, but probably not. That was way too far back. But then after that, I basically got all of PvP out of my system, and I basically just did PvE all the time. I loved raiding. The most fun raiding time for me was when I was with a guild called Asylum, and we was in the Cool Whip raiding group, and I got to meet a lot of them in real life as well. That was just good times for me, and wow, really, really good times. Right, so my voice is starting to break up because I've talked your ears off, and I still need to do some voice acting later, so I'm going to go and rest it for a bit. It doesn't help that I was on the phone to my mum for like an hour prior to this Q&A. But if you want to get your question answered in a Q&A like this one, head on over to ask.fm/Sharmalade and you can do so, and the next Q&A for June is going to be coming really soon because this one for May is super late. I apologise. But have a fantastic week, and I'll see you all soon. Bye!